Have you ever noticed how some of the wealthiest people you can think of, well, they don't really look all that wealthy? Today, we're going to dig into this super counterintuitive idea of stealth wealth. It's this powerful strategy that says appearing modest might just be the best way to actually build a life of true, lasting prosperity.
I mean, seriously, think about it. This isn't some accident. We're talking about Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors in history. He bought his house in Omaha way back in 1958 and just stayed there. Or look at Mark Zuckerberg with his famous gray t-shirts. These are very deliberate choices. They're part of a whole philosophy that separates the people who are wealthy from those who just look the part.
So that's the big question, right? Why would they do that? And the answer is so much deeper than just, saving money. It's a whole mindset that changes your finances, your psychology, even the people you hang out with. It's really about playing the long game in a world that is obsessed with showing off right now. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this whole thing down. First, we'll get into the stealth wealth paradox itself. Then, we'll see how it creates this incredible financial snowball and gives you a huge psychological payoff. After that, we'll uncover how it becomes a secret weapon in your life. And finally, I'll lay out a clear path so you can put this into practice yourself.
All right, first up, we've got to tackle the main idea here, the stealth wealth paradox. It's all about breaking the connection between looking rich and being rich. Let's be real. We live in a social media world, right? It's all highlight reels and filters. It feels like you have to perform success to be considered successful. But the real truth? Sustainable wealth isn't built for an audience. It's built in the quiet, with consistent and honestly kind of boring habits that nobody ever sees.
So if real wealth is built behind the scenes, how does that actually play out? Let's talk numbers, because this is where the strategy gets really exciting, creating what we call the financial snowball effect. Now, check out this number, 60%. That is staggering. 6 out of every 10 adults are stuck in this cycle where money comes in and it goes right back out again. A lot of times because of that pressure to have the newest phone, the nicer car, the trendy clothes. But what if you just opted out? What if you decided that your perfectly good phone is, well, perfectly good? Or you decided to cook at home a few more nights? Saving just $500 a month by resisting those little upgrades is way more doable than you think. And boom, that one little habit instantly turns into $6,000 a year. Just think about that for a second. That's a huge shift. That's money that's no longer just vanishing on stuff that loses value. Now it's sitting there ready to start working for you.
And this, my friends, is where the magic really kicks in. It's called compounding. You take that $6,000 a year, you invest it, and you just let it grow. Thanks to the power of compounding interest, that one consistent habit could turn into over $40,000. That's the financial snowball right there. A tiny, quiet habit that rolls and rolls until it becomes a massive financial force.
But you know what? The benefits aren't just about the money. In fact, the psychological payoff, it might be even more valuable. This is about buying yourself peace of mind. Okay, so there's this classic psychological trap. Picture this. Way back in the 18th century, this writer, Diderot, gets a fancy new robe as a gift. And suddenly, his old chair looks kind of shabby. And then his desk looks old. And his tapestries. Before he knows it, he's replaced everything and wound up in debt, all because of one nice thing.
It's the exact same logic as getting a free Ferrari. Yeah, the car might be a gift, but now you're chained to it. The insurance costs a fortune. A simple oil change is thousands of dollars. Every little thing becomes a new source of stress. Keeping things simple protects you from this entire mess.
And you know what? Science totally backs this up. It's called the Hedonic Treadmill. They've done studies on lottery winners, and what they found is that after this initial burst of joy, within a few months, they're right back to where they were, happiness-wise. That thrill from a big purchase just fades so fast. It leaves you needing the next fix. So the really big point here is that when you break that cycle, you retrain your brain to actually appreciate what you already have. And the most deeply fulfilling joys in life, a walk outside, a great conversation, watching a sunset, they're almost always free.
Now, all this peace of mind isn't just a defensive move. It actually becomes a powerful offensive tool. When you let go of the need to impress everyone, you gain this secret weapon, a strategic advantage in pretty much every part of your life.
I mean, think about it. A flashy lifestyle tends to attract people who are way more interested in your money than they are in you. As the story from Hong Kong points out, those kinds of relationships are incredibly draining, both for your wallet and your energy. Flying under the radar acts like a natural filter for genuine friends.
Living modestly also gets you to the finish line financial freedom way, way faster. There's this rule of thumb called the 4% rule, which helps you figure out how much you need to retire. Well, based on that rule, someone who learns to live happily on $30,000 a year needs $500,000 less to retire than someone who's used to spending $50,000. You're not just saving money, you are literally buying back years of your life.
And this advantage pops up everywhere, even in negotiations. Like the contractor story shows, when you look modest, people assume you're careful with your money. They're way less likely to try and overcharge you because you give off the vibe of someone who walk if the deal isn't good. It gives you all this hidden leverage. And maybe the most underrated benefit of all is this. When no one's watching you, you are totally free to experiment. You can start that little side business, try to learn a new skill. You can even fail. And you can do it all without the pressure of keeping up some public image of success. That freedom to just try things and learn from your mistakes is basically rocket fuel for personal growth. Okay, so how do you actually start? The beautiful thing about this whole approach is that it is not about making some huge dramatic gesture. It's about small, consistent habits that build a life that's rich in the things that actually matter.
Here are 4 super simple things you can do today, not tomorrow, like right now. Open your banking app and just move $10 to savings. The next time you feel that urge to impulse buy something, just stop and move that money aside instead. Plan to get together with a friend that's all about connection, not consumption, and invest in yourself by finding a free online class to learn something new.
And really, in the end, it all just boils down to this one question. The choice isn't between having nice things and having nothing. The real choice is between a life that's cluttered with stuff that's losing value and a life that is filled with freedom, with options, and with the quiet power to build a future you never want to escape from. The choice is yours.